Alright, welcome back to the Canadian Gun Vault. We have with us today a special guest, Black Powder Dave, our resident authority on all things that go bang. And as well, we have a number 3 Lee Enfield SMLE rifle here. Dave, can you quickly just tell us what would be some of the historical significance of a piece like this?
Historically speaking, this rifle would have been used in World War I.
Wow.
Which is a long time ago.
Yes.
Canadian troops would have carried this gun with them after they threw away the Ross rifles, which worked terribly over in Europe in the conditions that were there in World War I.
Didn't do well.
They did not perform well in mud. They did not perform well with British ammo. And unfortunately, some soldiers could not put the bolt together properly and ended up eating the bolt when it fired and slammed back into their face.
Wow.
So eventually they discontinued the Rosses and Canadian troops were all issued number 3s.
The idea of a bolt coming back into your face doesn't sound very pleasant at all, and I mean, I could see this is definitely a well-built rifle. Just looking at it and holding it in your hands, you can feel it is definitely a solid piece. You got a couple of things here you need to know about this rifle: a 10-round detachable box magazine that is still legal, thank goodness, in this country for bolt-action rifles, and again, just a very simple design, easy to use, fun to shoot. You know, it really does soak up. The weight of this rifle really does soak up.
Low recoil.
Yeah, that recoil impulse with that 303 British round, which ordinarily can you know, beat you up a little bit with this full stock rifle. And I mean, if you take a good close look at this, you've got this very desirable full length forestock that comes all the way to the end. I know that in the 90s these rifles were relatively inexpensive. They're considered vintage collectibles now, and guys were chopping off the stocks, the forestocks, and turning them into you know, cheap deer rifles, which was a real shame, because as a collectible you don't want to alter the rifles permanently, and that's certainly what a lot of people were doing.
It's a shame that so many were destroyed like that, but
yeah,
it's what happens when you have like millions and millions of these rifles made, and everybody considered them just like an endless supply. So who cared?
Yeah, you know, much like today's SKS, right? These rifles were considered, you know, there's so many of them. They were considered inexpensive or cheap, and truth be told, they're actually a very well-made rifle. And firing one just the other day, I fell in love with it, and I could certainly see why a lot of people do.
Yeah. Originally, you could buy these 12 bucks.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, they'd have like literally a pail, like a garbage bin, just stuffed full of them for $12.
Wow. Well, you know what? Certainly those days are long gone. I wish they were back, but you know, we can't have that. So, you know, just to give people a general idea, for general maintenance of guns like this, I mean, you do want to protect your investment. You're going to want to clean it. So this particular model, right? First, we'll just check to make sure that it is unloaded. We'll inspect the chamber and make sure that there's nothing in there. We've got an empty magazine in place. We're going to take the magazine out, and I'm just going to show the viewers very quickly here. If you depress this tab right here ahead of the bolt and just slide it upwards into this position, the bolt slides right on out and can be removed for cleaning along with the barrel. And then there's several bands on this rifle where you just have a screw to remove, and you can separate the action from the stock. It really is you know, a simple, uncomplicated thing to care for. And generally speaking, what are you looking at in terms of an investment value for something like this today?
Nowadays, these would run you probably $650 up to $1,000, depending on condition and model, because there were very many different versions of this gun made.
Yeah, no, I understand they were making them from 1895 right up until today, about 17 million of these, folks, and in some places of the world still being used. A reliable, well-built rifle, and something that I think everybody could get into. Just going to slide this bolt back into place just to show you guys how easy this thing is to kind of put back together. Really, again, you know, a fantastic piece, and you know, it's something that if you're into World War I or World War II vintage firearms, not a ridiculously large investment to make. If you can find one of these, definitely don't pass on the opportunity to own and shoot one. Right? They're just great pieces.
Yeah, a few small things to check for. Just make sure the board's in good shape for firing, and beyond that, just the mechanics of the bolt. Matching numbers are nice if you can get them. These were like a lot of the Russian guns now, where the pieces are just mishmashed together, but they still function and they're still fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, you know, Black Powder Dave, I got to tell you, thank you so much for coming. Always a pleasure seeing you. Right, and thank you again, folks, for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great night.